Coming up on Dig It.
It's a year and a bit since we lost Mum. I still get quite emotional talking about Mum even now.
Of course you do, it's really hard.
It was a few months later that the wheels came off for me. I had a proper emotional breakdown. If I stay in a hotel, I always put my toothbrush away because I always think if you do something that pees off the person who cleans your room, what if they use your toothbrush to clean something in the room?
Oh my God.
I love a feral wee, me.
I don't like a feral wee. So are you not slightly concerned that you might be seen when you're weeing?
Oh no. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
All of that right after this. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. How are you, gorgeous?
Yeah, no, I am good. I love the way I have to think about how I am in the mornings.
I do the same. I think, I seem to be in quite a good mood today. Hurrah. Yeah.
Am I hurting? Where am I hurting today? No, I'm not hurting. This is good.
Oh, don't. Honestly, my hip is hurting so much in the night.
Do you take anything for it at all?
I have got loads of turmeric and I forget to take it.
We're now heading into the time of our lives where we have those pill trays, are they? When it's like Monday, Tuesday.
I have them.
Have you got one already?
I have got a pill tray that my mate Em bought me and it's so brilliant. But it's got the morning and the evening.
Yeah.
But now I can't get everything into it. So I've dumped that and I've now just got a Tupperware box and on every Sunday I pour a load of things into it and then I look at them and go, right, well, I'll take one of these, 3 of these, 2 of those.
From our issues to your issues, this is where we do dig in every Monday morning. So we just want to hear from you and what you've got to say and if we can discuss or help out in any way, shape or form.
Yeah. And we've had a WhatsApp from Debbie. She says, my lovely friend Andrea put me onto your podcast and as I mourn the death of my lovely dad, oh Debbie, I'm so sorry, 12 days ago, you're helping me as I navigate this new era of life. My question: how do you navigate hard and difficult times in life? Keep inspiring me. And thank you, Debbie from Elgin. Debbie, I'm so sorry to hear about your dear dad. And that's so recently, my love.
Yeah, so fresh. We send you love.
I can only imagine how you are at the moment. You're just lost in this time at the moment. It's so hard, you just getting through each day at this point, aren't you?
This is one for you, Zoe, probably, having lost your mum.
Well, yes. How do you navigate? I think someone said to me once, just tiny steps each day. It's an interesting thing as well. When you lose someone, just getting through the initial days is surviving. And sometimes you look back and you think, I don't even know how I got through those days. And how do you get through? Often with the love of great friends or family, the people who are there for you and the people who just know. They can just look at you and say, what do you need? What don't you need? And there's often only a few people who can do that. And they're so special, those friends. And when you lose someone close to you like that, in the beginning, there's so much to do. And it's strange how you can go into, right, organisation, we've got things to organise, there's lots to do. And so that gets you through that initial bit. And then it's the after that is the toughest time. And I'd say, Debbie, just go so easy on yourself. After losing Mum, I kind of got through the bit of her being ill with my brother and the help of some of my mum's real wonderful friends and my loved ones. And then we got through the after bit. It was after that the wheels came off for me. It was a few months later and they properly came off.
Had you gone back to work at that point?
I had to stop working. Yeah. I was on the floor in the kitchen. I couldn't move.
Yeah.
I had a proper emotional breakdown. I haven't really talked about it actually very much.
Yeah.
But it was brutal. And I think also when you've lost people in your life, then another thing that happens is you have grief on grief. And what can happen is the grief of one loss will open up the grief that you've experienced for other losses. And that can be quite weighty. And everyone's experience is different.
Yeah.
The things I have learned is, lean on your dear ones. If you can ask for help, if you need it, do that. I had an amazing doctor who turned up at my door with coffee and bagels and said, so we need to get you some help. And he was wonderful. It's a year and a bit since we lost Mum, and I found her birthday this year the toughest, a whole year later. That was brutal. It was a week of absolute weeping and stuff like that. So I send you so much love, Debbie.
How did you get the support through that week? What happened? Were you with your brothers? Were you with your family, with friends? What did you do?
My mum's best friend.
Yeah.
I love to pieces, and I actually turned up at her door. I was taking her flowers because she misses my mum terribly, and I ended up turning up on the doorstep and not being able to stop crying.
Yeah.
And then sort of leaving. But she gets it. She totally gets it, and she's so there for me. And then friends, my close buddies who've lost loved ones, and we it's terrible, isn't it? The older we get, the more people we lose, whether it's to illness or whether it's our parents or our friends, which I know you've gone through a lot, Joe, as well, and it's really tough, and you find different ways to cope. I found a really good therapist I talked to about losing my mum.
So therapy was really helpful.
Yeah, therapy was really helpful. There's some really good books on grief as well, and I'll put up some of those books on my socials, actually.
That would be good if you could.
But I think leaning on your loved ones is the best thing, and also just not being afraid to weep a hell of a lot. There's a lot of crying, there's a lot of pain that has to come out. So yeah, it's really tough. I still get quite emotional talking about Mum even now,
Of course you do. It's really hard.
Someone said to me once, taking a walk for people you love is a really good thing. And so I have a little spot I go to at the top of the Downs, and I go up there and I take flowers, and I take roses, and I stick them in this little fence, because then they'll just biodegrade and then they'll go back into the earth. But it's a little place I stop. It's right at the top, and I stick the roses in. And yesterday I was taking roses for Mum. I took one for Billy. I took one for a friend Zoe, a friend Charlotte. I mean, it's my friend's sister.
The list
There's
gets longer,
more
doesn't
and
it?
more people to take them for. And but that little moment, and the clouds are really black and grey, and I sat there and I'd take my little cup of coffee and I just chatted to all of them, because sometimes I talk to them all the time, and then sometimes I don't. And of course you're talking to yourself, really, but I'm talking up to the sky. And then the clouds cleared and the sun shone down on my face, and it felt so powerful. And then, I had my little chat with everybody. I asked them to watch over various different people.
Yeah.
Like, will you watch over Woo, and will you watch over so-and-so who's having a hard time? And, it just really helps me, that thing. Take a walk for people, or find a place where you can go and sit and talk to them and give yourself that time. And sometimes I can go up there for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's enough. Sometimes I go up and sit up there for about an hour, and that really helps. So, Debbie, I hope some of these things help. And if anyone else has any suggestions on things to do when you're going through tough times like this, like the loss of a parent
it's as big as it gets, right?
Is really tough.
Yeah. And
I'm always happy to talk about grief, because it's something, sadly, we will all go through. If there's anything people can suggest for Debbie, do let us know. Get in touch.
If you're loving Dig It, make sure you hit the follow on Apple or Spotify. It means that you'll never miss an episode, and they'll download to your phone as soon as they're out. We've got a voice note from Di.
Hi, Joe and Zoe. This is Di Miles from Somerset, looking for some advice. I'm about to retire after working as a midwife in the NHS for 41 years. I've had a fantastic career. I've loved my job. And I know that on that last day, I'm going to feel very emotional. So what I want to know is, what is the best way to leave? Do you hug everyone, or just wave, blow some kisses, and run? Some advice from you and your lovely listeners would be really appreciated. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, Di, 41 years as a midwife. Can you imagine the amount of babies Di has seen into the world? What an amazing lady. Oh, well, Joe, I mean, what would you suggest? I personally would say, Di, you've probably got a lot of friends there, and you've probably known them for a long time. So I would definitely have a celebration. I think whether that's a party, or everyone goes to a pub, or you go somewhere and everyone can buy you a drink, or I think you should be celebrated, Di.
I think my natural inclination would be probably not even to show up on that last day, because I couldn't face the fuss being made and the emotion of that situation, don't you think? Because I know that I would be incredibly weepy, and I bet Di, probably you will be as well. And so the natural inclination is, let's not confront this, let's not deal with this, let's just run away and pretend it's not happening. But Di, you can't actually let that happen. So I think, so it goes back to your mum and putting on those steel pants, which I've thought about so many times since you've shared that with us. It's about going, all right, I'm going to have a massive cry in the morning when I wake up, and I'm going to accept that everybody here loves me. They've loved me for many years. They want to celebrate everything I've brought to this, this place of work, and you just have to face it head on. And actually, it's okay to cry throughout the day, and feel the love and kind of accept what's going on. So yeah, kind of, I think it's fighting that natural inclination just to not deal with it, but just let everybody celebrate you and love you and say thank you for everything that you've done.
I think the after is the really difficult bit, because then you got to go home and just take it all on board. And I imagine people will give you cards and little gifts, and they will mean a lot, and you might need to leave them somewhere for a couple of weeks, and then you'll have the chance to read them. Having got, it's not the same as working in the NHS as a midwife for 41 years. But when I left a job last year, it was really emotional. I really held it together, and then right at the last minute, I had a big old cry. And everyone had given me such lovely cards and gifts, listeners, my friends I work with. And I found it really hard to read those until a lot longer afterwards. And then I read them, and then they meant even more, because you've got to kind of come down from so much, and your life's, that's a huge change, Di. But from Joe and I and our whole team, bravo to you and congratulations. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do now, Di?
I listened to you doing your last show, and it was when they brought Woody on, wasn't it, that you went, that you cracked.
That's when it got me.
But you were amazing up until that point. I was just thinking how fantastic you were being, just holding it together and being very, very professional, because that was obviously your way of dealing with the emotion of the whole situation as well. But then it was nice to hear the human side.
I feel really I feel a lot of love for Di. That's quite a moment for her. Oh, yeah. God, don't set me off.
I kept my card off when it was my 60th birthday, and all my friends, they all wrote in a massive card, and I didn't read that for about 2 weeks, exactly like you. I just I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the emotion. And also I was looking forward to sitting down when there was nothing else going on and there was no one else around me, and I could just really take it all in. And it was lovely. I'd got quite a few cards left over as well, and I just had this kind of little ceremonial evening, a Sunday evening, of just going, right, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to take all this in and really enjoy it. And it was nice. It was a really good thing to do.
Well, good luck, Di. Let us know how you get on.
We're going to take a quick break now for some ads.
Don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, you can become a subscriber to The Potting Shed.
You will get longer episodes, bonus content, and access to our members' chat room where we can share tips.
And early access to live shows.
But most importantly, you will be supporting the show. So to subscribe, just go to digitpod.co.uk or tap the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by Airbnb.
Joe, what are your holiday non-negotiables?
Okay, not that I'm fussy, but it has to be a nice bed, a big TV, and a comfy sofa to watch it from. An Airbnb would be ideal.
I stayed at an Airbnb once in Colorado. It was a tree house. An actual house built in a tree. Honestly, it was like being in a film. I was so grateful to my host for such an amazing, scenic experience, as well as a seriously comfy, lovely home.
Oh my God, you would make a great Airbnb host. Everybody says that you're incredibly thoughtful and generous. I've actually got a friend who hosts her place while she's away, just every now and then when it suits her, and she really loves the flexibility.
I've never thought about hosting before. I guess you can start small and see how it feels. It doesn't have to be a big thing.
Exactly, and it might help top up the holiday fund for your own treehouse getaway. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.co.uk/host.
This episode of Dig It is sponsored by 8 Sleep.
Hot flashes can be a nightmare during menopause.
Absolutely. Waking up in a sweat at 3 a.m, duvet on, duvet off, window open, freezing by dawn.
It's exhausting.
The Pod 5 from 8 Sleep aims to save you from all of that.
That's the temperature regulating mattress cover, right?
Yes, it has a hot flash mode. It cools you before the hot flash even wakes you.
Really?
And one side can change temperature and not affect the other side, so no complaints from the other half.
That's so clever.
It tracks all your sleep stats, even your heart rate, without wearing anything. And there's a mode where you just tap the bed to cool instantly.
I love that. So you fall asleep faster, you stay asleep longer, and you get that golden extra hour.
Head to 8sleep.com/digit, use code DIGIT and get up to £350 off the Pod 5 Ultra.
That's code DIGIT for up to £350 off the Pod 5 Ultra.
If you're tired of being tired, sleep better with 8 Sleep.
We've got some of your messages from the last few episodes.
On teeth, because we were talking about teeth, Derry's been in touch. I have kept both my children's baby teeth plus the puppies all in a box. Now not sure whose is whose. My daughter finds it hilarious that I kept the dogs too. I'm imagining they would be pretty
God.
different, wouldn't they?
Sharp,
but I've not
surely.
really examined them closely.
Yeah.
Derry,
I would
brilliant.
have thought dogs' teeth were much sharper and finer, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've also got a voice note from Bernie.
I have a little story for you that I think might be able to top Zoe's one about getting stung by the jellyfish in Ibiza. I too, like you both, have recently come back from Ibiza. Our son lives out there and we were over there for our granddaughter's first birthday, which was lovely. I also, like you, Joe, love my running and I run every day. It keeps me sane. However, I was running recently when I was in Ibiza and as you do at a certain age, that's over 60, I needed to stop for a quick wee. So I was down a dirt track and I pulled in by the side of the track into some bushes and pulled down my running shorts, and all of a sudden I get this swarm of bees or wasps, don't know what they were, and one stung me on the bottom, and then as I went to brush that one away, and the next one stung me on my arm. And so I think a lesson was learnt there. Make sure that you go to the toilet before you go out running.
Bernie, what a nightmare. Oh my
God.
Lord. I love a feral wee, me. And I often just don't plan and have to have a feral wee. And Bernie, your words have, I will remember those because there's all sorts that can get you when you're low to the ground.
Oh my God, I was not expecting that. I was like stinging nettle, possibly, maybe some ants, but not a bee or
Ow,
wasps.
can you
Wow.
imagine in your undercarriage? That's going to hurt, isn't it? A
Oh
lot.
my God. I don't like a feral wee. It's funny.
You don't like a feral wee?
India, my eldest gorgeous daughter, she's very feral, and she will, and also has no control over her bladder. I'm quite proud of my control over my bladder at my age compared to hers. And she's always like, we're running and she'll be like, oh, hang on a minute, I've just got to nip behind a bush. And I'm always ever so slightly disgusted by it. I was like, India. But she's very liberated.
Think of all the animals that we in the bushes, it's all liquid,
know.
it's going back in.
But it's obviously the way we're brought up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with India.
And my parents would never do that.
I love a feral wee. It's like, especially if we go on a walk, I can never last that long in between places. So feral wees all round. In fact, we went to a pub last weekend and even walking back to the car, I thought, I should have gone in the pub. And I went to do a feral wee and everyone in the car was absolutely disgusted. But then people came from everywhere and I had to pull my trousers up really quick. and then it took ages to get home. So I'd done half a feral wee and it was a disaster.
Oh no. But also Bernie saying, that I should have gone before I did my run. Bernie, you'll know what it's like. You go before you run and then you start running and instantly you're like, oh no, I need to go. I need to wee again. And the number of runs I've done when all I can think about is weeing. All I can think about looking for a pub that I can go to or somewhere. It's obviously in your brain and it's psychological. So yeah, feral wees are fine. I just wish I could do them more easily.
Yes. And be careful where you crouch.
So are you not ever so slightly concerned that you might be seen when you're weeing?
Oh no. I'd much rather get it out and get it sorted. You know,
Just don't
it's
care.
like, it's all right for men. Men can just perch behind a tree or, you know, and it's, no one can see anything. As a woman, you've got to lower yourself. But I am not embarrassed by things like that. No. The rest of my family are mortified. But I am known to all my friends as like, oh, she's doing a wild wee. She's doing a feral wee. Off she goes. Yeah. When you got to go, you got to go.
True.
If you've been caught short and caught out, a bit like Bernie, or you know, had a bit of a whoopsie whilst trying to take a feral wee, do share your stories, or perhaps even the strangest place you've had to take a feral wee, and how has that gone for you? Do share. We would love to hear from you. I don't think I'm alone in this, Bernie and I don't think so.
You're definitely not alone. This has just brought back something for me. I remember I used to stay at my grandma and granddad's a lot when I was a kid, and they lived in a big, dark house, and the toilet was miles away, and my grandma always used to keep a potty under the bed, and so quite often I'd wake up in the night and she'd be there doing a wee on the potty, and I would as well. It was just something you did because the toilet was so far away, and it was cold and it was really, really dark, and that was it. It was just every night she'd go to bed, put a potty under the bed, and then everyone would use it as they needed to.
But that's what people had to do, wasn't it? Because the loo was outside, you know, and you didn't want to go outside in the middle of the night, so people had those bowls, didn't they?
Exactly.
And then there was a jug, because I've bought loads of them to stick flowers in around, you know, I used to buy those all the time, and then someone was like, you know, that was for washing or weeing.
Yeah.
Really? And they went under the bed. There you go.
What were they called? They had chamber pot.
Yeah,
that's it. We had a chamber pot under the bed.
That's it. Or isn't a chamber pot the one you can slide under your bum? Under your bum. We've gone off piece.
We've definitely gone off piece. Yeah.
Another email from Eliza. She says, years ago, when I was renting with two flatmates, my bedroom was right next to the bathroom. One night, I was woken up by my drunk ex-housemate brushing his teeth with an electric toothbrush. The thing is, I was the only person in the house who owned an electric toothbrush. So I lay there, furious, not just at the thought of him using mine, but wondering how many other times he'd secretly used it without me knowing. Anyway, it got me thinking, do either of you have any house share horror stories from your renting days? Oh, how terribly rude.
It's hard sharing a house, isn't it, with people?
Oh, God, it is, isn't it?
I used to live in a pub. I lived above a pub, rather, and it was really eventful. I mean, it was like living in the Queen Vic or above the Queen Vic in EastEnders. There was one time when I was in bed and all of a sudden these policemen came running into the room, just literally like shouting, don't nobody move, and like a proper raid. And there'd obviously been some accusation of something going on in the pub. And I was just lying there on a Sunday morning going, oh my God, what are these policemen doing in our room? So that was a bit scary, but that was
terrifying.
I know, it was really scary. And then another time I got food poisoning, and I remember, I was really, really ill, and I went to the doctors and they told me to take a little sample, as we were being feral, a little sample to the local town hall where you had to hand it in. I remember I didn't have very much money at the time. I used to, in the mornings, go around the pub and I used to pick up pennies so that I could have enough money for my bus fare. I got a bus with a sample of my poo in a pot.
Story.
And I went to Islington Town Hall and I handed it in, or wherever I had to hand it in, I handed it in, and then I had to wait for the results. And when the results came back, it said that I'd had salmonella food poisoning and was really properly poorly. And I remember the landlady of the pub coming over to me, just like Peggy Mitchell, just coming over and like, don't you ever tell anybody that you did this living in my pub. I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I really won't ever again. That I got salmonella. But I think it was like we were living in this pub and we had our own kitchen and they were really lovely people, but the hygiene, and it was nothing to do with the pub because this was our own private kitchen, and that's obviously where I got the food poisoning from. But it wasn't that the hygiene standard was not great, and I did end up very, very poorly. But I will never forget the terror of having this landlady just look me in the eyes and just going, don't you ever tell anybody you had salmonella her in my pub.
She sounds like a character, doesn't she?
She was amazing. I loved her. I really, really loved her. And it was a great, great pub.
I lived above a pub in Salford, and I don't think it even exists anymore. I think it's been bulldozed down. There's loads of flash, and there's stuff that used to go on in there was pretty spectacular as well. And I remember everyone at work was like, "You're living above a pub," and then someone took me in, was saying, "Look, I've got a room in my house. Come and live in my house." But it was actually brilliant fun, and the rent was really cheap, and but it's not sustainable for too long. And I worked in a great Irish pub in Dalston, and the landlady was called Bridie, and she was an absolute character. And everybody who drank in there, I loved working in that place though.
Yeah.
The stories you would hear and the shenanigans.
And the characters.
That was a very good Peggy Mitchell impression, by the way, Jo.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thing with toothbrushes, I always rinse my toothbrush before I use it. Because it's standing there in, the open air. So I always rinse toothbrush. And stories like that make me just be like, oh. And if I stay in a hotel, I always put my toothbrush away in case, because I always think, if you do something that pees off the person who cleans your room, what if they use your toothbrush to clean something in the room? So I'll always put my toothbrush away. Is that weird? I was a chambermaid for a while, and I saw some weird stuff go down, and I have always thought then, be nice to the people who clean up after you, because otherwise your toothbrush could be used for something else.
Oh no, I'm never going to stay in a hotel now quite as easily as I have in the past. If people do that kind of thing, I hadn't even thought about that.
Do you know what? They probably don't. It's just me being a bit paranoid about hygiene.
No, because now there'll be people listening to this and they'll say, I used to do that kind of thing. I'm sure if you have, tell us, please do.
Tell us.
Does that really go on?
The terrible things you have done to people's toothbrushes.
And I guess it extends to like waiting tables and working in a kitchen or a restaurant or something like that. If a customer really, really pisses you off, what do you do?
People are gobbing in that burger.
Oh, God.
They are.
I mean, I guess this just begs the question, doesn't it? What have you done for revenge? Have you been that person? If a customer has been particularly irritating or really annoying, what have you done? Or you could extend it further. Best revenge stories, please. Can we have those? Thank you. Show notes.
Okay.
Have a look. That tells you exactly how you get them to us. Send us a voice note. We'd love to hear from you.
I remember a friend telling me about
Here we go.
An ex, and she had scratched one of his favourite records, and so when he got home it was just playing the sort of same two refrains of something of the record, and then going round and round. I thought that was really evil.
That's it for today's episode. But if you want even more questions and answers, become a member of our gang of the Potting Shed and get longer episodes. See you on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday. Dig It is a Persephonica production.